right, welcome to episode 19 of the Dragon's Tome. I am your host, Chopper, and joined with me are my good friends.
Hi, I'm Jack.
I like that he throws it slightly. I'm Rob.
I gotta give you the cues because you're not reading my body movements here. So,
my friends,
to you. We're here October 1978. Dragon Magazine number 19. We've now 19. Are in number 19. We are feeling the effects of inflation because now Dragon Magazine's gone up to $2.
$2.
And $2 magazine. And we are looking at the cover, which we have dubbed WTF. Because it is
intelligible.
Looks like a microscope slide or a mushroom drawing a man.
Or a sea anemone wolf howling at the moon.
See, I still don't see that wolf. You guys said that before, and I can't see the wolf.
I think it's a fungal growth.
Oh, wait a minute. I see the wolf now.
Did you squint and let your eyes unfocus?
No, I did. I was looking for like a fatter head. This is a skinny wolf.
Well, I don't know if it's any of those things, so it's uncredited, so we'll never know.
I wonder if they put this weird cover on there because of Gem World.
Is it a nuclear blast?
Maybe. Or maybe it's how the mutants see people. Because there are mutants in Gem World.
Yes, there are. It's all about the mutants. Jack, it also has your favorite color for the title.
Yes. It shouldn't be that color.
Was that a facetious favorite or a real favorite?
Jack many a time said if it's white, it's wrong. It
it's
be
white.
Especially the 19 looks a little gooey.
It does. It does look a little off-putting,
to say the least.
But it is an off-putting cover with an off-putting title, and
yeah. So again, once again, uncredited. Per the contents. And speaking of the contents, let's move on forward, and we'll start with, as always, Mr. Harper and his breakdown of the Dragon Rummels, which I think is going to be very juicy this time around.
This one's a good one. So it's Gen Con, was that 11 wrap-up? That's why they start this thing. All went well at University of Wisconsin, Parkside. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a much rosier picture than Origins he gave last issue. Although they said the attendance was down, it was only 2,000 people, and they blamed the weather. I guess there was massive storms and flooding and stuff. Then suddenly, a wild Gygax appears and jumps in as a guest editorial.
Wild Gygax.
He starts
wild
hyping
or rampaging.
Yeah, he starts hyping up Origins out of the blue. And I'm guessing that last issue, Timothy Cask was a little too harsh on Origins because Gygax starts massaging the Origins. Yeah, and he also blames the weather for Gen Con's attendance, and he also says he blames that some nasty people in Lake Geneva told attendees that it was either canceled or gave them wrong directions, which may or may not be true, just to cover the fact that TSR's con was not as heavily attended, but who knows?
He does praise MDG, I guess, who took over Origins and was running it at that point, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what MDG stands for, but
Origins is run by companies like Avalon Hill and all these other ones, so it's one of those ones, but I don't know which one it is.
Okay.
I don't know what MDG stands for. Please, if you know, put it in the comments. Yeah. Gygax also says that dealers at Gen Con were a little pissed because of low attendance and sales, so they offered lower rates for next year.
No,
hey, Pat,
great.
Would that ever happen nowadays?
No, probably not. I mean, even with the pandemic last year, I doubt we're going to get a cheaper rate. As a matter of fact, I know we didn't get a cheaper rate because I just paid for next year's.
Yeah. And you could definitely see a rivalry between Origins and Gen Con. Gygax also mentioned that there was the rise of people in what we would call cosplay, people dressed up in funny costumes, as he called it. But he also said that one of the dealers had all their people dressed up as Nazis, which wasn't good for the, general view.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And I guess they had real weapons and stuff too, which is kind of weird. Yeah, imagine that nowadays. I think the whole con would be shut down.
Well, hell yeah. I mean, but I guess at this time too, there in this area, there was a true neo-Nazi club, charter, whatever you want to call it, in this area. They had their HQ up, I forget what city it was in, but I know they make fun of it in the Blues Brothers movie. They break through and they get chased by the neo-Nazis at the end of the movie along with everyone else.
Yeah. And then it ends with Cask issuing an apology for the last issue where he criticized Origins, and he must have gotten a talking to. It was...
Do you think that he's talking about the dealers was actually a booth of people trying to recruit for the neo-Nazi charter?
No, I think it was probably one of the war games groups, like, somebody selling World War II games, but they decided... I don't think it was actual Nazis. I think it was just people thinking, hey, I'm going to dress up, not realizing, hey, that's...
I don't know. I remember reading part of it. It said they were spouting some really vitreous stuff.
They might have just been really into their cosplay.
It's not like a firewall. Firewall!
Yeah, that was the issue.
Or was it lightning bolt? What was it?
It was a little too realistic, I think that was the issue. Yeah. But Cask, yeah, I'm amazed he's still editor after this debacle.
Yeah. Well, he got his talking to, that's for sure.
He did.
That's it for Dragon Rumbles, and I'm sure we'll not hear any more of this to come.
No. Yeah, according to Gary Gygax.
Yeah, the boss put his foot down.
So, seeing as I'm the host, I will take the next article.
Ooh.
And so we are going to head to page 6. And we are going to talk about how many Ettins is a fire giant worth.
What's an Ettin?
An Ettin's a 2-headed giant thingy, like a troll. Oh,
I know.
Right. Hey, it's been a while since anyone's seen a real Ettin.
A couple days at least.
Yeah.
Real Ettin? I'm so good.
So this is a nice little article explaining the setup of how they created the dungeon, or how they created the scoring and adventures for competitive D&D, which I thought was kind of cool because we had talked about in the past, and my experience with D&D tournaments, my experience with D&D tournaments didn't include scoring. It just included DMs sitting around at a round table trying to advocate for their group, and whoever
it was more
comes out
like
on top.
Figure skating than a real
yeah. So in this article, they talk about how they created the dungeons. They had to meet certain kind of things, like because I guess the formula is GRC times S, where G is the number of giants they killed, R is rooms, and C is clues that they find, times the number of people that survived, and that's how many victory points they got. So that factors in on top of when they go do their roundtable of GMs who then starts to advocate for the group or don't advocate for the group. I mean, I've seen some D&D tournaments where the GMs are like, my guys were horrible and didn't role play for nothing, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's important to note why it is giants, and that is because they were running the 3 G1, 2, 3 modules that are giant based for the tournament. So it was very important that
Yeah, if you're old like us and you've probably played these modules with your group.
Well, attempted play. I found AD&D modules were always terrible. We kind of always didn't play them because they were deadly. Like, there was very few that actually let you actually play through them. It would be like you get stuck in a room and poison gas kills you, and you're like, oh, well, thanks for that.
Yeah, great.
We played through a lot in another group that I was in, and it was I don't know. They were very primitive, and the fun was how anachronistic it was and what was considered entertainment at the time. But
I mean, you could still use them because when we played, we still had a competitive DM, but he was also a little more he was more on the track to becoming how we GM nowadays.
He didn't want to just murder you outright at the
Yeah, but he didn't want to make it easy either. He was like, I'm not going to make it easy for you, but I don't want to kill you.
Yeah, that's how it should be. It shouldn't be easy, but it also shouldn't be just how fast can I murder the PCs.
Yeah. So, but this is it was a nice little article. Kind of talks about how they handle these D&D things. So if you've never actually been to a D, I mean, and this is kind of the basis of D&D tournaments. Kind of still, I still don't think they use scoring in my experience, and I've played quite a few. And these are all the RPGA. The RPGA is still not in existence yet here, the Role Playing Gamer Association. But a lot of the D&D tournaments I played were RPGA D&D tournaments.
Yeah, they probably figured out a better way to do it, because I think if you try to be too clinical, it doesn't take into account role-playing. Right? And it's a role-playing game. It's not just what I can kill. It's not a miniatures game, really.
Yeah.
Like, miniatures game is easy. You get victory points for doing certain things and doing certain objectives. But I think role-playing games, it's not that cut and dry.
No, definitely not. But this is, if you're reading this magazine, this is also a good article because it goes hand in hand with the article that's before this on page 3 called Snurry's Hall.
Yeah, this is actually the recap of the tournament from...
Yeah, Snurry's Hall is the recap, right?
Yeah. And from the 78 D&D Origins D&D tournament. Well, I will say, though, this came up also, is that this tournament, I guess, was a bit of a shit show. They had these volunteers from the university and they didn't really know how the scoring worked, so they screwed up the scoring on a lot of things. And also the I guess it's G2 was so hard that it had TPKs like constantly. Like there's, I think, only one group didn't get murdered in the second thing, so that's not a good sign. But I think, once again, I don't know if it was in the Gygax part, but they blamed it on that the players were just trying to kill things instead of actually trying to think their way out of situations. It's like, when you base things on killing things, and then you
exactly
then you say, "Oh, you should be
do that kind of stuff." I mean, all right, well,
yeah, you enter a tournament with cash and prizes, and one of the fundamentals is killing giants. Well, you're going to try and kill as many giants as you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's part of your points. I get it,
and I guess that was the issue: is if you try to take them head on, you're going to get decimated. So, and it happened.
Yep.
But anyways, yeah, this was a recap, eh?
Yeah. So. For me, that was my article. And Jack, what did you come down with?
I didn't prepare this week, so I'm just gonna guess. No, we're gonna go down to page 8. It's called Gamma World: A List of Treasures in quotation marks to be found by Gary Gygax, and it is a list of trinkets and bits and baubles that you would find in a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, I love how ridiculously mundane everything is, like a metal pipe.
Well, there's some weird things in there too. I mean,
yeah, there's things that you can't even pronounce. Like, yeah,
where was it? Oh, number 67, electromagnetic Weibel-Fitzer.
But it's poor condition. The gravinometer is missing, so.
Which then does render it useless. We all know that. That's just science.
If you find a gravinometer somewhere, maybe you can make it work.
Then you're cooking with gas. Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that it is a 1 to 100 a use of the percentile dice.
Yeah, you don't see that much, and it's very Fallout to me too. Like it's super Fallout. This is kind of stuff you just like. I don't know how many random things I would collect in Fallout and just sell later. This seems like the very same idea.
Yeah.
32 is a portable hand vacuum cleaner. Do you think that's a Dust Devil?
Probably was before Dust Devils were invented. This might be the version of the Dust Devil.
Oh, you're right.
That'd be actually funny if Gygax unintentionally invented things.
This is right here. I found it. I found the one that tells you exactly what year you're in. Number 39, the 8-track videotape.
Oh,
Tri-video. Tri-video. It's probably 3D.
Yeah.
in 8 tracks.
It's an 8 tracks.
In that little cartridge,
High-tech.
and you. Wow. Well, I would think that many people that would listen or watch this podcast have never seen an 8-track in real life.
It's been a while. But, yeah.
All right. Anything else, Jack?
No, that's my contribution. A list, a good old fashioned list. I'm a fan of the list.
I love lists. And charts.
The chart.
I
Yes,
love list.
I love lists and charts.
All right, Mr. Harper, what did you come up with next?
I went to one that's supposedly funny, but it just annoys me. It's on page 7. And that is the... if I can find it. Jeez, where'd page 7 go? There is no
It's
page
right
7.
above 8.
Oh yeah, 'cause it's only half a page. Compendium of diverse D&D player personalities, or a pigeonhole for nearly everyone you ever adventured with. And it's a very smug retelling of hey, this is the kind of people that you always find, like literally says always find at every single table. And there's things like the Doomsday Predictor, the Masochist, the Smug Player, the Genius, the Real Lifer, and then Shy People, and the Dominant Player. And the guy just writing this, who is it? It's what's his
Mike
name here?
Crane.
Mike Crane. He comes off as a jerk because he
I'm
really
the dominant
pigeonholes
player.
pigeonholes people into certain things, and I think that's yeah. I find he is the smug player.
It's just not funny.
No,
I've seen
it's
this
meant to be
list
funny.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen this list done dozens of times throughout the years. Throughout my Dragon magazine subscription, it pops up. It's one of those old chestnuts, and this is just not a good version of that joke. Yeah, it's almost a bit mean spirited.
That's what I find. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike,
just some of the
come
things he pretty much yeah.
I will say
He was
that
the DM.
the shy people one, he does give some nice advice to break the shy people out of their shell, at least.
Some backhanded advice. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he says, believe it or not, shy people do play D&D. Well, of course they do.
Yeah. I think shy people make up a majority of the D&D players.
This is their way to break out of their shell, for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was mine. I hate Mike Crane.
No.
I hope he's dead.
No.
Which he could be, because this was a while ago.
Yeah.
Mike Crane, if you're out there, I apologize. Please comment below.
Say he's 25 at the time. That was
78? Yeah, jeez.
He's not that much older than us.
Let's just say 1980.
No, he'd be like 75.
Yeah,
60, 65, I guess.
Yeah, not much older than us.
I was like a 5-year-old at that
75. He'd be 75, or a little older than 75, yeah. That's crazy. Anyways.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so for mine, we're going to go back to page 14.
We were never there, so how can we go back?
Back in time.
Gonna go back in time. Don't need money.
But actually, we're in tune there. Which
don't need fame.
Over Skype, that's nearly impossible.
It's true.
The mythos of Australia.
So this, again, is a precursor, or this is an add-on, they're saying. And it was designed to be compatible with the gods, demigods, and heroes, which will turn into deities and demigods in the future. The thing I liked about this really is that it's someone I thought about to investigate their Aboriginal mythos.
Forward thinking of.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about mythos of, I guess, the human race as we know it, what always springs to mind is the Romans, the Greeks, the Norse, all the white ones. But it was nice.
This is Australia, so it is just bordering Germany, right near the Alps.
That's Austria. Geography was never been your song. It's no wonder when you got to Australia, no one spoke English. You're like, I was trying to conquer it for...
No, it's because he hates Al. So he just takes AL out of all words. So he has a blank spot.
Yeah, well, that's why you're my P.
So I think it's cool that they actually did an Aboriginal list of stuff you can use in your D&D campaign should you play island people, you know?
I just try to pronounce any of these, though.
Oh, it's so hard, like some of these. Like this the bat one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to pronounce NG.
And some of these, I just wish, obviously for space, they couldn't give a full write-up for each, but some of them really piqued my interest, and it's just a stat block. I'm like, oh, I want to know what that is. I want to deep dive that.
Yeah. That's the beauty of deities and demigods and most of their monster manuals is you have pictures. There's no pictures here of all the different creatures, or at least some of them even. You want to see kind of what you're looking at, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you can guess.
Think it's a bit of a shame that this didn't make it into the deities and demigods, or for that matter, any of the Ring of Fire people.
Yeah. Or they should have done more deities and demigods books. Like there shouldn't have been, just like Monster Manual, there's multiple Monster Manuals. They should have done multiple deities and demigods.
I say that, but then, reading further into the magazine, it gets a little bit more open and stuff. So, but that's for the future discussion.
The future.
All right. So that is my article, Jack.
Me again?
That's how it goes.
Oh, jeepers. Okay, let me get my book out. Let's see here. We are going to go to page 21 in the magazine.
Oh, I was looking at your issue 13 on the back there. Oh, no. Not the Fastest Guns That Never Lived Part 3.
I use this book for our podcast. That's what this book is for. So, yes, you're going to see... You're going to see this is the future. A Dragon's Tome. Yeah, you'll see. Yes, I feel obligated to discuss this article because I was the one who had brought it up in days past. Fastest Guns That Ever Lived, Part 1. Part 2 was in another magazine called
Little Wars.
Little Wars.
Little War. There's no S.
Little War. So, sort of like Puppets War. No S.
I guess so.
You would guess right.
Is there no S on Puppet War?
So the shtick here is that it is a list of actors given stats for Boot Hill, the game Boot Hill, the Western. If there's,
which I loved.
Hey, it's cowboys like the Wild West. What's not to love? You could really get dirty and gritty in that in that landscape.
Giant spider monsters, mechanical spider monsters.
A giant mechanical spider, collars that explode.
I loved Wild Wild West.
Oh, that was so horrible.
Selma Hayek, though, come on.
Was she in that movie? I don't remember that.
Oh, come on. If that's not permanently ingrained in your brain.
Frankly, I don't even know if I did see that movie. I just know the joke. I don't know. I don't think I actually watched Wild Wild West. Not the original was in the 60s. This was the Will Smith one we're making fun of.
Yes.
And Kevin Kline.
And Selma Hayek.
I guess.
Just do a Google image search, and then everyone will be like, yeah, Jack, obviously. Come on. You're right. And I'll be like, yeah, damn right I'm right.
Anyways, back to the actors who aren't gunslingers having gunslinger stats.
Oh, yes. So to cut to the chase, to just stop the tomfoolery and hijinks and get right down to the point. If you wanted to play Charles Bronson in Boot Hill, it has some stats here based on the roles he played, specifically Magnificent Seven. So James Coburn, There was someone else here that I was.
Robert Vaughn.
Yep, and the Brett Maverick from the Mavericks
TV show.
Well,
TV show.
that wasn't the actor's name. That was the actual character's name. Not
So we were talking about this on the last time, and I think when I was thinking about this, when we did part 1, it had real actor's name and TV characters' names, and we couldn't figure out why that was. So I was thinking about it, and I'm thinking whoever wrote this article, Mr. Alan Hamack.
You sound like an alien trying to pronounce somebody's name.
I think he just used the actors' real names because he couldn't remember the characters' names from the movie.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
How else would you find that information out if you're like, I'm going to write about Magnificent Seven?
Hi, look on Wikipedia or IMDb.
Yeah, this is 1978. Before there was Google, you can't. It's not the Magnificent Seven is not the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Maybe
is it Britannica Encyclopedia? Encyclopedia Britannica. Encyclopedia Britannica.
Anyways, plus, yeah, I don't use Beth. Yeah, maybe Laserdiscs, but Beta and VHS weren't around yet.
Oh yeah, you
couldn't
go back and rent the movie. You couldn't rent the movie and just rewatch it either.
You have to wait till it's playing on some theater nearby, and then you're just sitting there taking notes during the credits.
Or you ask your grandpa, "Hey, Grandpa, do you remember that movie?"
Yeah, it got Charles Branson in it.
I don't know that his name. What his name was?
His name was Charles Branson.
I think it's funny that he remembers the names of the Mavic brothers.
But that was a TV show, right?
Well, yeah, James Garner. Oh, yeah.
So you probably watched a lot more episodes of that. So you get used to their names. While the movie, you're just like, okay, that's
the brothers only showed up a couple times, because one of the brothers was Roger Moore.
Yeah, it was James Bond. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was
James Garner was the star,
Secret Agent,
and he was Brett Maverick. So.
Because that was before he was far before he was James Bond. He was
the Saint. I think he was the Saint around that time.
Yeah, some one of those ones. Yeah.
He was Val Kilmer?
No, God.
The best Batman.
Val Kilmer's Batman.
Val Kilmer is in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is his best role ever.
He's also Iceman.
If you say Val Kilmer's best, if you're ruling out Tombstone.
Oh, yeah, Tombstone.
Oh.
Well, he's so into Tombstone, I forget. I remember his name in that movie. I forgot it was Val Kilmer.
Much like Selma Hayek in Wild Wild West, Val Kilmer is the essence of the whole experience.
That's funny. All right, so we're off track here.
We're getting distracted. How are we getting distracted?
Yes. Anyways, anything more to say about Boot Hill here?
I think these are great little additives to the game, especially if you have an old Boot Hill game. Which I do.
In the Horde.
It's not saying much. Did you call him a whore?
No, in the Horde.
You're just a game whore, aren't you?
You're just a whore.
You'll open yourself up for any game.
Displaying your games to the world for everyone to see.
No, he doesn't. He keeps them behind the closed doors. He has to do a room tour one time. Once he gets it set up.
The only game I won't play is a chibi game.
Oh, you will. Anyways.
All right, Rob, you're up.
I'm going back to page 12 for another annoying one. Because I always get the annoying ones, it seems. It's called The Lowdown on Wishes. And it's once again a DM writing an article about how to screw over your characters.
Yeah, I was going to read this one, but I didn't.
It's really, he gives like a levels of wishes, and pretty much if you're not wishing for something that's totally useless, you're going to die. He's going to screw you, or worse, like dying would be the best outcome in some of these. And it's antagonist GMs. It's just a way to, first of all, why are you getting so many wishes? And second of all, why are you trying to screw over your characters? Stop giving them wishes. Wish should be like, once in your character's lifetime to get 3 wishes, right? So, but
I thought it was going to be one of those things where how do you create that genie situation where you like don't know, you're going to wish for that, you better word it correctly because you had $1 million? Well, you did. Now it's gone. No,
Or it
it is
drops on your
literally
head or something.
Yeah, it is literally how much comeuppance you're going to get for if you're brassy enough to ask for something powerful, or it's just a sliding scale of punishment.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. If you ask for like there's different classes. It's just pretty much if you ask for anything worthwhile, you're dead or you're punished, like Jackson.
Yeah, that's pretty much says.
It's an ongoing litany of antagonist GM articles, and eventually I get sick of pointing them out, but this not yet.
Not yet. Well, I mean, it was a sign of the times, right?
Just like wearing onions on your belt.
Onions? Is that a Canadian thing I don't know anything about?
Yes.
Used to do. If you know what we're talking about,
they used to tell me below. 5 Bs for a quarter, they'd say.
Yep. All right, so I don't have a third article because Jack stole mine.
You both
Jack,
stole
do you have another one?
I don't have an article, no.
What do you got, Jack?
I have an ad.
Okay, well,
right.
If we're going to do me the honor of squeezing down to the second last page here, it is page 33, and it is
Big
the
deal.
ad. Big deal.
No, this is a real big deal.
Not what you would shout out at in an auditorium full of students in high school.
Yeah.
It is the ad. First of all, that picture, iconic. That is
yes.
I've seen that picture tons of times. To me, it should have been the cover. That's the picture.
That's what confuses me about this ad, because it doesn't have the cover. The cover is the guy stealing the gem from the statue's eye.
Well, it's two guys. Yeah, it's two guys.
Well, yeah, but it's the one guy hanging off, grabbing the gem, right?
Yeah.
Anyways.
And there's one guy. Well, either way. I do think this is off the original pamphlet D&D book, though, this picture.
Well, it does. It's the little gnome guy smoking on top of D6. It's a famous image.
But it's out. It's here. This is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. This is the Genesis. It's now on the horizon. It was on the horizon. Now it's in your greasy little hands. So, it says, together the 3 volumes, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons is the Monster Manual, Player's Handbook, and the soon-to-be-released Dungeon Master's Guide.
Yeah, I think at this time the Monster Manual and Player's Handbook are out.
Yeah, Monster Manual came out a couple months ago, I think. Yeah, and I love, like Jack's going to say, it's the revision to Gods, Demigods, and Heroes, but what's the real name, Jack?
My Diary.
Oh.
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 Oh, come on.
Deities and Demigods. They haven't changed the name yet. But, yeah.
Yeah,
this is the beginning for all of us for AD&D right here.
AD&D.
Is it? This is where we start to go hardcore.
Yeah.
So I start to go hardcore into my D&D.
I love it. It's only 120 pages, but it is a thin book. I remember having it, and it's like, that's not a very thick book, but it does have all the information it says for character races and classes, statistics on level advancement, equipment, weapons, armor, and spells, including 30 new spells, and much, much more. Yeah, this is...
Where does it say 120 pages?
There it is. 120 pages.
I found it.
It's the big numbers.
It was hidden, the number.
Anyways, it's this is the beginning of real D&D, as I like to say, because everybody plays D&D 5th. It isn't D&D. It's AD&D. They just changed the name. Anything you're playing D&D now, it's not D&D. D&D is 3 classes, three alignments, and some of the classes are your race. So
yeah,
I played plenty of the red box and plenty of the I think it was a teal that was past the first levels or whatever.
Yeah, it was blue. That had the X1 module. Isle of Dread.
And it was that was good, but it quickly gets replaced. This is it. This is D&D as we know it.
Yeah, so, people nowadays know it. This is it. Cool.
All right, so I got an ad. You got an ad, Rob?
Yeah, I do have an ad.
All right, let's go to your ad.
My ad is on page 24. It's Chaosium. They dropped the. There's no more the Chaosium. Yeah, this is the RuneQuest. Huge game, still being played today. And also it mentions Greg Stafford. He made a King Arthur game here. He's one of the pillars of the role-playing game community. Just died last year or the year before. But he was one of the big ones outside of TSR. Like he was famous for his contributions to the role-playing world. But this is Chaosium's become the Chaosium we know as RuneQuest. Like I say, just recently I think just recently the RuneQuest new edition came out, and people are doing real plays for that. RuneQuest is a much different game than D&D. It's a much different game. So, but the Chaosium. No Call of Cthulhu yet, but it's coming.
The Chaosium.
It's gone. It's this Chaosium. Right. So that was my ad.
So let's roll down a couple pages to 27. And this is one of my 2 ads.
On my copy, this ad doesn't exist, but I think we decided it's the Star Trek one. It was in Dragon Magazine 20 also, so we can still talk about it.
Yeah, so I thought it was nice that the figures are actually kind of nice for this stuff. What I did like is that you get 75 mil Captain Kirk and Spock if you wanted to. Those are $11. And then the standard diorama 25 mils are all right here.
Imagine how heavy those would be, because they're probably lead at this time, right? These are all lead?
Yes, or pewter still.
Is pewter around at this point?
They're starting to change around for sure. Yeah.
But it's 75 mil characters. They freaking weigh a ton. I guess those are just for statues almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say collector figurines instead of gaming diorama sets is the other ones. So, $3 and you get like, how many characters? 4 characters?
Yeah.
I love
some of them, yeah. Kirk
is yeoman. Yeoman Rand doesn't get called out there. It's just his yeoman.
It's his yeoman.
Jeez.
You get 6 Romulan crew, 6 Klingon crew, Gorn crew. There's a bunch of races here I didn't know of. The Score. Who the hell is Score?
Score? I don't even know what that means. I'm pretty sure they spelled Uhura wrong. Isn't it with a U?
Where's she at?
They spelled the Y, I think. Isn't it? I'm checking.
Uhura was H-U or U-H.
Yeah, it's U, right?
Oh yeah, they did spell it right. It's supposed to be U-H.
Yeah, and they have a Y there. Yeah, Uhura, yeah, U-H, yeah.
So she's Wahuru instead of Uhuru.
Once again, if this wasn't licensed, I would be saying, well, they just did that on purpose. But this is just pretty sloppy.
These are officially licensed models, so there shouldn't be.
It also says
they're Paramount. This is Paramount, so I would assume that whoever is working for Paramount in the licensing part of whatever just didn't give a fuck. Yeah. They just said here you go. Whoever it is, Heritage Models said we'll give you this much money, and they said all right, we'll take it.
It also says Khan the Klingon. Last time I checked, Khan was not a Klingon. Yeah.
T'Pau is there.
But I bet you wish you had these miniatures.
I would, if I could find.
I bet they're so expensive.
I might have to go looking for it.
They're probably so expensive because this would be like how many different collecting groups? It's Star Trek collectors, you got miniature collectors.
Yeah,
it's good. It's
but to find these exact models, the heritage models, Star Trek figures would be hard to find. I think.
Yeah, and plus they're like I say, lead. Lead after a while degrades. So after 40 some odd years, the degradation might be beyond repair too. What they call that? Lead. It's really poisonous too. You can't touch them after a certain amount of time, right?
No.
Hopefully they're not lead. Does it say what they're made of?
No. I would assume at this point we're moving towards pewter because
pewter would be all right. Yeah.
We were very highly asbestos and lead conscious around this time.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not lead anymore because lead is super dangerous. There you go.
I assume all of those have been smelted down. They're sinkers. Or shot. Sinkers. Like it's not. There's not a good chance that those things still survive.
Oh, I'm sure there's tons in package, but they're probably like $100 each. Like original BattleTech miniatures, like from Battle Droids, they're super expensive, but they do exist. So, and those were like, once again, I don't think they're lead, but they're hefty duty pewter, or I don't think they're white metal. I don't think white metal was around by then. But.
Not yet. Jack, you got anything?
I'm done. I'm tapped.
Really, I'm quite surprised. So I'm gonna bring this up then because I'm quite surprised that you didn't. And let's go to the centerfold, page 16.
Oh, my
That's
usual no.
I know it's not an ad, but we're gonna treat it like an ad.
I would it would be egregious to call this an ad. This is a article.
What page we went 17?
16, 17.
16, 17, yep.
How did I keep missing it? This isn't the Forge.
You went to 20. You went to 20 so that you could look at the ad that you couldn't see on yours.
I was confused. Thank you. I was like, wait a second. This is the thing I want to talk about, but that's not until next issue.
Didn't even tool over to have to look. I knew exactly what you were doing.
Yeah, you got me, Jack. You got me.
That's because you're my P.
Oh yeah, this. These are all like ships, right?
Yeah, this is all spaceships, but it's so last issue, horrible. Couldn't see a damn thing. This time around, now we're back to like, oh, we figured it out. Like you can clearly call that a Klingon D7, a Romulan warbird. That might be a Tholian.
Some are better than others, but the pizza ones in B, which I think are supposed to be
Star Destroyers,
but they got some weird lines going through them. But I do think next issue we do discuss that also about why some of this doesn't look right. So, which is funny that it ends up you can actually see them, probably because they screwed up, which is kind of humorous.
So, but that was the last. Some of these ships are horrible looking too. Like, and see what are those supposed to be?
So some of them look good. Some of these ships, and other ones just look.
C is Valiant models. Oh, Heritage models. Valiant models. So there must be some game called Valiant, I guess. I don't know.
Who knows?
What is that? Yeah. Those are... What's the top ship? Is that from old Star Trek? It looks like from new Star Trek.
Which one?
In A. The little one.
That's a Romulan warbird. That's the original Romulan.
Oh, the little one. And what's the other one?
Which Klingon? One that looks like... Yeah, that's the Klingon D7. Yeah, that's the Klingon D7.
And the little one is Romulan? Oh.
Yeah, up top. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
That's the original Romulan warbird from the original series.
Cray.
So.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. We've spent enough time and chit-chat on this issue. Anything you guys want to add lastly?
Amazing cover. We have to throw that out.
Yeah. Take some acid. Come take this. Drop a little bit of acid and just stare at this cover for hours.
It's moving, man.
So, all right. Well, guys, for the Dragon's Tome, I've been your host, Chopper.
I'm Jack.
I'm Rob.
And we'll see you next week for issue number 20. That would be Vente in Spanish.
Ooh.
Nice. Throw back to another show we do, but that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye-bye.